Why do you think most people stop podcasting after 3 episodes? Like traditionally and statistically, most podcasts do not work. They do not make it. It is almost an impossible medium to succeed at. So while everything you just said is true, why do you think that is also true?
I think because it's really hard to keep going on something when you're not externally winning. Like even for me, I'm doing 100 episodes and my 101st episode, I'm saying to myself, okay, like where's the audience? Like, well, how come no one's really listening? Like I'm getting feedback here and there. And I had Gary Vaynerchuk on my show, episode 39, but it's not like that many people cared. So I could understand why people stop after 3 episodes or 20, because I was like, I had done 100 and I was like, I don't know if this is for me. But I think it's just a matter of asking yourself, like why you're doing it. For me, it was like, why am I doing it? Oh, I like having conversations with people. Okay, keep going. Like,
Yeah,
so
you're going to have those conversations regardless. So you might as well, put it out there, especially with the belief of the industry growing. And, the people who have done the best in it, take Joe Rogan, for example, right? He was doing it so long before anybody was podcasting. And that's why he can have, a guest that most people don't know, and he can introduce them to everybody and people can enjoy it.
I think it's also worth pointing out that if you think about the people who are the best quote unquote podcasters in the world right now, those people didn't grow up wanting to be podcasters. There's an entire generation of people now who want to be podcasters. And those people haven't made their way through the ranks of life yet. It's like people grew up, they wanted to be radio stars and they became radio stars. People grew up, they wanted to be on TV. They became TV hosts. No one grew up. Very few people have grown up wanting to be podcasters. If so, it's only happened in the last 10 years. And the people who are currently at the top of the game didn't even know that that's what they wanted. So it's like, give it time. Like we're in the early innings of an industry getting started. That to me is so exciting, where it's like for a long time, even possibly today, Rogan doesn't even have podcaster in his bio, but that's how most of the world knows him. I think Tim Ferriss the same. And you're just like, how is that possible? But it's possible because they didn't grow up wanting to be that thing.
Sure, yeah. I mean, you look at Rogan's early career, it was all TV and, he had a couple different shows and then, got into commentating pretty early, probably around the start of the podcast. I mean, the trajectory is just so fun to think about now because there's going to be 5, 10, 15. There's the potential appetite for there to be 20 Rogans.
Yes. And I think as big of a podcasting fan I am, you should check out David Senra. Have you heard of him from the
I haven't,
Founders
no.
podcast? He's like just as equally bullish on podcasting, and he studies successful founders for a living. Like his job is to do Founders, the podcast. And every week he listens to or reads a biography or an autobiography. And he is looking at the start of different industries. And he's saying to everyone, yo, we are at the start of the podcasting industry. And this is what always happens at the start of an industry. People don't know, people don't have any idea for how big it's going to get. And everyone thinks they're late. And so he has seen that time and time and in different, and he's gone from Steve Jobs to Edwin Land to just incredible founders and people who are on the come up, and he just studies them. And so my point in all that is to say, like, podcasting is in that place, very likely. And most people in 2023 believe like it's too late for me to start. And it's like, what if the best podcast in the world in 2040 hasn't been created yet? And that's a probably occurrence.
Absolutely. 100%. My prediction on podcasts is that the podcasters themselves become the biggest VCs, the biggest entrepreneurs, some of the wealthiest people in the world. And I believe that because the dynamic of having an audience of a long form conversation enables you to teach and talk about products and industries in a nuanced way that you can't do in any other medium. And there are going to be equity exchanges for access to that. And that's basically how it's played out in private with Rogan, but sort of publicly as well. And I think that's going to play out very publicly with a lot of other people.